What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Mic Check Podcast. This is T-Word, the People Champ, here with my co-host Q. We're back in this thing, and we're going to be doing some fight predictions. Today, we're looking at the top ranked card that's going to be happening Saturday afternoon, featuring Teofimo Lopez challenging Josh Taylor for his final title that he has. He should still have more than that, but he's going to be fighting Teo to defend that belt. That's a conversation for another day. Q, before we get into the video, what you got for the people?
Yeah, man, this is going to be one of those great fights that Top Rank puts on that probably goes under the radar, I think, as far as entertainment value. Obviously, it's not going to be on pay-per-view because neither one of these guys are pay-per-view attractions, at least not in the U.S. per se. But it is a very strong card. It's kind of in that same ilk of the Valdez-Navarrete, one of these cards that is, between two high-level guys in a certain division, but not necessarily maybe big names as far as, drawing power. So I think that this is going to be a really good fight. And when we look back on 2023, I think that this fight is going to be one of those ones that we say, man, you know what? That was actually a really good matchup. So, a former number one guy at 135 against a current number one or number two guy at 140 for the lineal title, for the Ring Magazine belt, for the WBO title. It's a strong fight. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting fight for sure. My heat for Teo has completely smoldered out. His last couple of fights have just let me know that he should have tried to just keep making 135. The pop didn't come up to 140 with him. So getting in there with a guy like Josh Taylor, who's a big 140, who has a well-rounded skill set, I'm looking for Josh Taylor to kind of embarrass Teo. I don't really hold Teo in high regard anymore. I hadn't seen it when you're struggling with guys like Sandor Martin, which Sandor Martin is put in there to make it. He's going to make it ugly. It's hard to beat him pretty, right? But I saw a lot of flaws in Teo's game. I saw that he was relying on tools that were effective at a lower weight class that these bigger individuals who are some barely making 40, they really could make 47 more comfortably. And you're fighting them and you're just not looking as good as you had in the past. To me, I don't like the matchup for Teo because I think it's too tough of a fight. He's not done enough at 140 for me to say you're going to look competitive against Josh Taylor, who I think really could go up to 47 and be competitive, if not real good, be definitely competitive. That's why he's at the top of 140 and hasn't had a need to move around. I do like the fact that, this is a chance to beat the man who beat the man. You know what I'm saying? So you get your lineal, Ring Magazine is going to honor the winner of this fight as well. So that all makes sense to me. But for Teo, I think there's a couple other fights maybe he should have tried to get into, but he's trying to fast track to that belt. So I get that from a business standpoint. As far as your strategy from Josh Taylor, I think his inside game is a little bit underrated. And that's really going to make a big difference in this fight because he's going to touch Teo often. And we're going to find out just how tough Teo is. It's all the shit talk backed up by them hands. So that's going to be something important to see. Before we go a little bit further into it, I believe you have a clip cue ready to go.
Absolutely.
All right, let's pop that up on the screen for you guys. This is a little clip cue. Go ahead and set it up for us.
Yeah, this is a media huddle. Bill Haney was at one of I think it was the media workout, I believe. And he was doing an interview with Fight Hub TV. Teofimo Sr. saw him, talking on camera, and he kind of just came over. And these two guys, as well as their sons, have kind of had a lot of back and forth, joking and unjokingly about them kind of setting up a fight. Obviously, we know that Devin Haney just, defended his belt against Lomachenko, but he's possibly looking to move up to 140. Teofimo is in a really big fight that if he's able to win, obviously that would be a natural matchup that Top Rank could offer, would be a Teofimo Devin Haney pay-per-view fight for the WBO Lineal and Ring Magazine titles. So Teofimo Sr., obviously not being the fighter in this situation, is kind of looking forward to what may be on the horizon, but Bill Haney did have some words of advice for him, and that's what we're going to check out real quick.
I love you and I've been loving you. But listen, you handle your business and you concentrate on it. concentrate on you handling. You got a tough guy.
I don't got to concentrate on nothing.
You do have a tough guy here. Tomorrow,
we're going to box the shit out of this dude, bro.
Didn't I just say he better box him?
Yeah, we're going to box the shit out of this dude.
Listen, I know what Gordo is a man. They don't know Gordo. I know Gordo.
They don't know the slick boxer Gordo.
I know Gordo.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. They don't know the Gordo from the amateurs. That's so fucking problem.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? This guy thinks he's coming over here to kill him. We're gonna box him, bro.
All right. When you get through there, we're gonna put you out your misery.
You're gonna see the most beautiful fucking boxing fucking shit that you ever seen, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Gordo is back. Is Gordo back?
He's back.
I know Gordo. See, I told you, I know.
Hey, he never lied.
Okay.
I was fucking up. I was pressuring him to go in and be hard. But I forgot my son is the best when he boxes. And you're gonna see the best boxer in the world tomorrow.
Didn't I just say that, man?
And you guys gonna see it. You guys gonna see it. You know.
Man, I don't have a lot to say in response to that, but I'll say this: T.O.'s dad is funny and for all the wrong reasons. We're not laughing with him; we're laughing at him. I mean, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like you're talking to the trainer of a future opponent about your current opponent.
Yeah.
What are you doing? If talk too much with a person.
I thought the biggest thing that I got from that, and that was one of them, obviously, was that he kind of gave away essentially what their strategy is going to be in the fight against Josh Taylor. I thought it was interesting that he actually had some accountability in there. I was a little surprised. I said, Teofimo Sr. is taking some responsibility for something that's going on and happening. I said, really?
But you know, that's probably partially just because, you know, T.O. has been out recently kind of not taking accountability and blaming everything around him. And his dad that's the mid ticket. If anybody needs to take the brunt of the bad press, it's me because I don't have to fight. So, I mean, I get it as a father. Sometimes you got to bite that bullet. And I think that's what happened there. So it's surprising to me too, like almost comical, because it's almost like, I don't even believe you, but you know, it is what it is. It should be a really good fight. Who do you have winning T.O. versus Taylor?
You know, it was interesting because going into the fight, I kind of assumed that Josh Taylor, using his size, using his reach, using his disparity in size advantage, was going to be the guy that was going to be more so the outside fighter in this fight. Josh Taylor does have a very good inside game. You did mention that. That's something that he's always really had. And it's funny because in a lot of other fights, it's to his disadvantage that he gets on the inside, because at 140, he's the biggest guy there is. I mean, he's the tallest, he's the longest, and he usually rehydrates to the biggest weight at that weight class, but he typically gives that up to fight on the inside because he's so good at it. But Teofimo saying that he wants to box him, I wonder if he means box him from the outside or if he means box him by trying to counter what Josh Taylor's aggression will be. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. My pick has always been the same. I think that Josh stops him late. I think that Josh stops him anywhere between rounds 9 and 10, because I think that Josh is a guy who is going to be putting constant pressure on. He's going to be putting constant combinations together. He's going to be investing in T.O.'s body. And I think that T.O.'s defense is not as good as it looks in certain fights, because T.O.'s defense in a lot of situations to me is his offense and is the threat of him countering someone else, not necessarily his actual moving and avoiding and blocking punches. And I think that, you know, all of the advantages he had at 135, which you kind of alluded to off air, I think are going to kind of be, you know, dissipated at 140, because he's not the bigger guy. He's not the bigger puncher in most of the top matchups he can have at 140. So he's going to have to find a different way to win. And respect to him for trying to beat Josh Taylor, going and being willing to take this fight so early in his campaign at 140. But I do think he loses, and I think he loses by stop.
Yeah, I definitely got him. I got him losing. A late stoppage sounds reasonable. I think he'll probably make the final bell. He's just going to get beat up. So if there is a stoppage, to me, I think the ref will just step in and be like, you've had enough. So I've got Taylor winning this one convincingly. I just think he's the bigger, better fighter, and he's a true champion. I got to give respect for that. No matter what I think about the result of the Catterall fight, I do believe that Josh Taylor's the better fighter in this one, hands down and by far. So, guys, what do you think? Who you're predicting for this fight? Is it going to be T.O.? Is it going to get the upset, become millennial, whatever? Or is it going to be Josh Taylor taking care of business and potentially looking at what he wants to do in the future? Maybe revisit Regis, maybe call up AB since he's looking for belts and get you a free payday. But anyway, we'd love to get y'all thoughts. This has been T. That's cute. Until the next time we're out. Peace.